What does it take for a civilization to crumble, to lose everything they built, to watch their legacy fade into the dust? For centuries, Europe was shaped by the rise and fall of mighty empires, each leaving a lasting mark on history. But what happened when these giants fell? How did their collapses echo through the ages, changing the course of Europe forever? Today, we explore the dramatic downfall of Europe's greatest empires, the stories, the power struggles, and the key moments that reshaped the world as we know it. Welcome to the pulse of Europe's history. Act 1. The Roman Empire. Let's start with the Roman Empire, an empire so vast it controlled nearly the entire Mediterranean world. It ruled for over 500 years and left an indelible imprint on Western civilization, but even Rome couldn't escape its own fall. The decline of Rome wasn't a sudden event, it was a slow decay, a mix of internal strife, economic turmoil, and barbarian invasions. But the real catalyst, it was the empire's inability to adapt. Rome's vast size became a double-edged sword. As the empire grew, so did its problems: political corruption, economic instability, and the inability to defend its borders led to a weakening of Rome's power. In 476 AD, the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer, marking the fall of the Western Roman Empire. But Rome didn't disappear overnight. Its legacy lived on in the Byzantine Empire, which would carry the flame of Roman civilization for another 1,000 years. The fall of Rome, though, opened the door to the Dark Ages, a time when Europe would be reshaped by feudalism, barbarian kingdoms, and the rise of new powers. Act 2. The Ottoman Empire. Fast forward to the 16th century, and another powerful empire began to dominate Europe's history: the Ottoman Empire. At its peak, it spanned 3 continents, stretching from modern-day Turkey across the Middle East, North Africa, and into southeastern Europe. The Ottomans were feared and admired for their military might, but by the 17th century, they started facing significant challenges. The empire was vast, but it was becoming increasingly difficult to govern such an expansive territory. The military, once unmatched, began to lose its edge against emerging European powers. The defeat at the Battle of Lepanto in 1571 was a turning point, a blow to the Ottoman navy, and a sign that European powers were catching up. Over the next centuries, internal corruption, rising nationalism, and military defeats caused the once mighty Ottoman Empire to weaken. By the time of World War I, the Ottomans had lost much of their former territory. The empire was on its last legs. After the war, the Treaty of Sèvres in 1920 officially dismantled the Ottoman Empire. It was replaced by the modern nation of Turkey, led by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. In just a few short decades, the Ottoman Empire, once a symbol of power, was reduced to history. Act 3. Napoleonic France. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's most captivating figures. Rising from the ashes of the French Revolution, Napoleon sought to build a French empire that would rival Rome. And for a time, he succeeded. Napoleon's military genius and ambition led him to conquer most of Europe. His empire stretched from Spain to Russia, and he changed the very fabric of European politics. But Napoleon's downfall came from his overreach, particularly the ill-fated invasion of Russia in 1812. In 1812, Napoleon's Grand Army was decimated by the Russian winter, marking the beginning of the end. His empire started to unravel, and in 1814, after a series of defeats, Napoleon was exiled to the island of Elba. He returned briefly for 100 days, But after his final defeat at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, he was sent into exile on the island of St. Helena, where he would die. The fall of Napoleon marked the end of the Napoleonic Wars and the restoration of monarchies across Europe. The political landscape of Europe was forever altered, and the effects of Napoleon's reign would ripple through the continent for generations. Act 4, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And then we come to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a power that dominated Central Europe for centuries, but its downfall came in the most tragic way imaginable: World War I. The Austro-Hungarian Empire was a multi-ethnic state with tensions simmering beneath the surface. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914 triggered a world war that would forever alter the map of Europe. By the war's end in 1918, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was shattered. The Treaty of Saint-Germain in 1919 officially ended the empire, with its territories divided among newly formed nations. The once proud empire vanished, and Europe would be left to rebuild, giving rise to new political ideologies, including the rise of fascism and communism. The legacy of empire. The fall of these great empires, Rome, the Ottomans, and Napoleonic France, and the Austro-Hungarians, shaped the Europe we know today. Their legacies still echo in our politics, culture, and society. The rise and fall of these empires serve as a reminder that no power is everlasting. Change is constant, and empires, no matter how mighty, are susceptible to the winds of time. Europe's story is one of power, glory, and inevitable collapse. It's a story that continues to evolve, and we're only at the beginning of understanding how these empires shaped our present. So, the next time you walk down a European street, stand before an ancient monument, or read a history book, remember, the pulse of Europe's history is always beating, strong, fierce, and unyielding. Subscribe for more epic tales of Europe's past. Thanks for joining me today, and this has been The Pulse of Europe's History. See you next time. Now let's turn our attention to the empire that once spanned the globe, the British Empire. At its height, it controlled vast territories across Africa, Asia, and the Americas. The phrase, "the sun never sets on the British Empire," was a testament to its unparalleled reach. But, like all great empires, its inevitable decline was marked by both internal and external pressures. The British Empire's decline began in the early 20th century, but the seeds of its collapse were sown even earlier. Two world wars in quick succession, World War I and World War II, drained the British economy, weakened its military, and exposed the fragility of its empire. While Britain emerged victorious, it was clear that the world had changed. Nationalist movements in colonies, fueled by the horrors of war, and the desire for self-determination would play a pivotal role in dismantling British power. The key moment came in 1947. With the independence of India, Britain was forced to let go of its most prized colony, an empire within the empire. This event marked the beginning of a broader wave of decolonization across Africa and Asia. By the 1960s, most of Britain's colonies had gained independence, and the empire was reduced to the United Kingdom and a few remaining territories. The Suez Crisis of 1956 further illustrated Britain's diminished global power. The British Empire, which had once been synonymous with global dominance, was no longer the powerhouse it once was. The final blow came in 1997 with the handover of Hong Kong to China, marking the end of the British Empire as a global entity. Visuals of the modern UK emphasizing its transformation post-empire. Today, the British Empire is but a shadow of its former self. Its legacy is a complicated one, built on both great achievements and dark injustices, but its fall, like all empires before it, is a reminder that no empire, no matter how mighty, lasts forever. From the fall of the Roman Empire to the decline of the British Empire, Europe's history has been shaped by the rise and fall of colossal empires. The collapse of these empires did not just lead to territorial changes, they reshaped the cultures, the politics, and the very identity of Europe itself. The Roman Empire's fall gave way to the Dark Ages and the rise of new kingdoms and religions. The Ottoman Empire's collapse in World War I paved the way for the birth of modern Turkey. Napoleon's defeat redefined European geopolitics and ended the dreams of a unified French Empire. The Austro-Hungarian Empire's dissolution after the First World War marked the end of a multi-ethnic world order and heralded the rise of nation-states. And the British Empire's decline in the 20th century revealed the changing tides of global power, with Europe no longer the sole ruler of the world. But even as these empires fell, they left legacies that continue to shape Europe today. From art and architecture to political systems and trade routes, the echoes of these once mighty empires can still be heard across the continent. Europe today is vastly different from the Europe of these empires. New powers have emerged, new alliances have been formed, and the old rivalries have faded, but the lessons of history remain ever relevant. As we look to the future, we must remember empires rise and fall, but history lives on. Thank you for joining me in exploring the rise and fall of Europe's greatest empires, and this has been the pulse of Europe's history. See you next time.